Hello again, good evening to you, and bringing you more on the budget. The Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, has welcomed a review of the personal income tax band from 10,000 cedis monthly salary level to 20,000 cedis at a tax rate of 30%. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta, CEO of the AGI, Seth Twuma Kwabwa, says the move does not only send right signals to investors, but also reduces the general cost of living within the business community.
When you reduce taxes, it means you are denying government some revenue. But on the other hand, you want to also stimulate the economy. So there are certain areas when you touch, it becomes counterproductive. So minimum wage, taxes on minimum wage being reduced, I think that generally speaking, it should help because you are improving the disposable income of the people within the lower salary bracket. So I think that's in principle, it's a good policy and it should be encouraged. But then, of course, when we look at the entire budget, we will see the compensation mechanisms. Where else is government, whilst you are reducing taxes in certain areas, where else are you getting the income from?
Meanwhile, the association says though government pledged more funding to improve its industrialization agenda, it insists much was not heard about the one district, one factory policy and its financing. Here again, the CEO of the association, Seth Twuma Kwabwa.
Interest rate, unfortunately, is still up there, but even if you compare year on year, you saw some reduction in interest rates. Of course, not up to the level that we expect, but there was some stability. Until recently, also, there was, reasonable stability in the exchange rate until the last 2 months or so when we started seeing fast depreciation of the cedi. But I think for the past few weeks also, it stabilized again. So I think the minister will be right to say that there has been general stability in the macroeconomic environment. I think there's some improvement.
Do you know, per what the finance minister just stated, that about 75 industries are expected to be completed somewhere by next year? Is AGI confident? Because you have always been raising concerns about a clear guideline as to how these factories are going to be funded and completed.
Well, I think the expectation was even higher, that at the initial stages we will have so many of them established. But AGI's position has always been that, knowing that we are the operators and we know how industries are set up, that it's not just a political gimmick. Your political dogma can never replace economic reality. So when it comes to establishment of industry, you can't just wish it. It has to go through some processes. So the numbers for me was not very critical, but the efforts, and the strategies that is being put in place to ensure that we have a certain number is more important. So if government is saying about 70 industries are supposed to be set up, we will need to follow up to see the stage where they are, to be very sure that indeed by the end of the year, by the end of next year, we have those numbers. But that should be possible. Not things because that should be possible because it's taken us about a year and a half to come this far, and it's a major focus of government. So if government says we could have 70 industries set up, why should we doubt it? What is even more important is that we need to monitor and make sure that indeed it happens because it can create jobs. So for me, that is also critical.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, whenever we're talking about industries and business development, the issues about regulations, business regulations, we've had interactions with you previous times when you raised concerns about how scattered the business regulations in the country are. This time around, we're getting word from the finance minister and even the trade minister before the budget hearing that we're going to be having all regulations boxed into one come next year. Do you think this is enough assurance for investors and entrepreneurs alike?
Well, there are several things that the investors look at when it comes to making a decision to invest, and regulation is part of them. That is not the only reason why they would invest, but definitely once you have a coordinated regulation, because some of the regulations are conflicting. So if you have it properly coordinated, properly documented, properly circulated and discussed, then it means that you are helping to improve the business environment.
And in another development, Joy Business has been sampling views of the public on the 2019 budget. While some express satisfaction with government's estimates for 2019, others question how possible the initiative can be achieved.
But me, I think since we are yet to go in 2019, maybe we just wait and see how it's going to come out. Is it feasible? That's the question we're supposed to be asking. I'm quite interested in the $2.5 billion US for the industry here in Ghana. I mean, we are crying for jobs and employment and all that. So if there's an amount like this for just industry here in the country, I'm just being hopeful that it works out correctly.
I didn't watch the whole 3.5 hours, I guess, but I was able to chance upon a few things. I'm excited that an amount of money has been allocated to the Office of the Special Prosecutor. It is one of the major, finance has been one of the major challenges of that office, and hopefully with the allocation of this money, Martin Amidu can start work. But of course, it's got to be backed with a legislative instrument, the LI, which is yet to mature. So I'm excited with the allocation of money for the Office of the Special Prosecutor.
Still on the budget, government's quest to combat electronic waste will lead to the creation of some 20,000 direct jobs through the e-waste management program. This was revealed by Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta during the presentation of the 2019 budget.
Used electronic and electrical equipment imported into the country continues to be the major source of electronic waste, as many have not been tested for functionality and in contravention of the regional and international laws, such as the Bamako Convention, the Basel Convention, and EU e-waste shipment regulations. During his presentation of the budget, Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta explained the program, which will help reduce, reuse and recycle waste, will create about 200,000 jobs.
The Ministry of Environment, Science, Technology and Innovation, MESTI, is in the process of finalizing a new national plastic waste policy, which will focus on strategies to promote reduction, reuse and recycling. I urge our industrial sector partners to work with us to come up with alternative eco-friendly products from our natural resources. The program will lead to the creation of about 20,000 direct jobs through the establishment of a national e-waste recycling facility, associated holding centers in each region, and collection centers in each of the 216 districts.
The Integrated E-Waste Management Program, which was launched in August this year, will, among other things, ensure the management of e-waste in an environmentally sound manner and turn the challenges of e-waste management in Ghana into green business opportunities. As part of government's overall e-waste management plan, government has passed the Hazardous and Electronic Waste Control and Management Act, Act 917. Reporting for Joy Business, Karen Dodu.
And that's all we have for you by way of business tonight, but we shall be bringing you more detailed analysis of the budgets in our subsequent bulletins. My name is Emmanuel Apuaji. Have a good evening.